I just explode. The reason we know how to use margin because we know how to use margin. Because you don't know how to use margin, well, don't put it on us. Don't even ask us questions.
Hey Ryan, why don't you pull up Amazon's margins real quick?
Well, yeah, I'd have more of a grin on my face than Stephen Hawking on Epstein's Island.
I'm off as a smug cock when you said that.
Wow, fiscal philosophy, you're not very smart at all. You screw up, cash flow kings. Dissector, you are an idiot.
Hello, everybody. It's Saturday, and it's 8 p.m. Eastern. And on Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, you'll be doing a wide range, variety, and different types of activities that may or may not be accretive to your lifestyle. Fiscal, what are some of the activities you could be doing right now? It's Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, that let's just say people who aren't reading the Cash Flow Kings right now are not doing.
Well, I'll tell you what I was doing maybe a couple hours ago.
Ooh.
I was actually out. I was out drinking mead, of all things.
I saw that. I did see that on your story.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could be doing that.
Ooh.
And went and had a little bit of beer after that. So,
we may be getting a tipsy Fiscal tonight, everybody.
I mean, it's
Takes
mostly more off by this point. But yeah, you could be doing that, which that's not highly accretive. And if you make a habit out of doing that, it can really drag you down. Worse than investing in all-in Misty on margin by chance. Throwing that out there. Hey guys, how's Hims and Celsius and Palantir doing for you lately? Just saying.
I'll tell you what, everybody. I've had a week. If you let's just say we've lost a little bit of money, but as Thanos said, this is a small price to pay for salvation. And if I can lose $700 in a day, but that means that Khmer gets absolutely pounded, I'll lose that $700 again, and I'll do it a few times.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, actually, Friday I pumped big time. Like I know that the market, actually I was green even when the market started off kind of pretty badly in the red. So I had a really great day Friday. Granted, still haven't made back all of what Amazon has lost me the last few weeks. That's been pretty rough, but it's you take your ups and you take your downs.
It's half the fun of it.
Roll with the punches.
I don't know how Target did this week, so I need to check how Target did, but that Target timing into Amazon was not ideal.
Yeah,
Target. Okay, Target's still down. Don't worry. It's
okay.
It dropped another $13, so half the fun of it. Let's see who's in the chat here. And once again, if you didn't respond to the pinned comment, how much did you guys lose this week? For some reason, a lot of other channels, nobody specifically, they're not disclosing how much they lost this week, or maybe they are and they just don't realize it. Showing your portfolio value on screen, warnings from your broker, getting margin calls, all non-accretive activities as per usual. Our good friend, Blast from the Past, 127. That's not a good number. Blake is in the chat. Double D's, who's pulled the ultimate rug pull on us, blue balls us.
Rug pull worse than Hims. Unbelievable.
Yeah. The average Hims investor has no pullout, and unfortunately couldn't bless us tonight. We were really looking forward to the Fatal 4-Way, the return of the famous four, you could even say. I was looking forward to it, but Double D's,
fearsome foursome.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. An updated Double D's, maybe a more mature Double D's after life at college can do a lot to people. Seymour Duck, I love Alan's comment here to make things weird. Keith wants an update to Khmer. He's getting he's getting Lily Phillips right now. Let's just say that.
Last thing I saw was his net account value was about $57K, and he had over $100K in outstanding margin that he owed. And he's praying for a couple good months so he can get it under control.
Kenny we're working on that right now, Cody. He joined the Discord. Nobody's heard from him though, so we're hoping that Kenny, if you're watching this, respond to my DM on Discord. And by the way, we do have an open offer to anybody. If you'd like a free Cash Flow Kings channel membership, we're asking somebody who's, slightly advanced in video editing to make an edit basically of Khmer and Kenny and add the Star Wars ghost effect around it. So it's like, Khmer is the beatdown Sith. What kind of a Sith would Khmer be? He'd be like one of the extremely weak ones. Maybe Count Dooku.
Yeah, I mean, Count Dooku is probably a good choice. I mean, Darth Maul, like, people kind of hate on him, but he was stronger than you think.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's underrated.
Yeah.
Blake is only down 6. Yeah, High Tide's not been doing good for us. Pretty rough week. But speaking of a rough week, Amazon was one of the front leading stocks that absolutely kind of bent us over this week. And who better to bring on to the show than somebody who's a little allocated into Amazon? And he showed up. He doesn't have anywhere to go tonight. It's none other than Aria.
How's it going? How are you guys?
Life is good, Aria, right now. Even though I've lost a good chunk of change this week, $1,200 to be specific, but that's fine.
Promise us that no matter how hard Amazon claps you, that you won't just cancel your CFK membership over it.
Yeah.
No,
We're
I
hanging
think
on by a thread here, guys.
I think we're good on that front.
All right, sweet.
But no, I was gonna say your guys' intros are unreal, man. It's just like it just builds on top of each other over. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's the synergy, the natural synergy.
It's a work of art. It's a masterpiece.
I know. Yeah. It's routine at this point. I could just do it off the lip.
Yeah.
Aria, though, what was the damage to your account this week? You could share portfolio, monetary amount, percentage, whatever you want to choose.
So since the peak of the portfolio, I'm down almost 1 Corolla worth. Let's just put it at that.
1 Corolla.
One 2002 Toyota Corolla.
No. Like a secondhand Corolla, not like.
Yeah. Worst finance takes would definitely appreciate that.
Okay, so I was going to talk to you guys about that, right?
Yeah.
What is going on? Like, what's the beef?
Yeah, probably good to start the episode with this because Dividend Dude is best friends with him.
What guy?
Yeah, finance guy.
Oh, yeah.
We are beating on a dead horse, and we're okay. So his big thing is rage baiting to get engagement, and we pulled a complete reverse Uno on him. The person who runs our Twitter, I don't know, I'm not going to say who it is, maybe our backhand editor.
Or the Oracle,
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it's just too easy at this point. So he came out of quitting this week. And Fiscal, I think you got a nice screenshot. It was like, I've come back. I'm going to try not to be negative anymore. The negativity, I can't do it anymore. Like the first thing, and like the first day he responds, and it's like he's just going after people for liking.
The first, like it was some kind of thing, political thing, saying like how evil Democrats are or something, and he's like, and it's like, way to keep it positive, bro.
If you vote for Democrat, you're truly an evil person.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, thanks.
And I think like finance type Twitter accounts, like having their weird political arc, I think it's overdone, and so I just don't appreciate it at all.
Yeah,
and he's glorified Dave Ramsey copy pasta to begin with, to be honest with you. So he's apparently his retirement's shorter than Michael Jordan's like first retirement.
Well, a year and a half, no? Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's like a satire account, no? Like,
okay, so I was on the same the same page with you.
He is absolutely
100%. He's not being serious.
No, he's not satire.
No, he isn't.
He is not satire. So it's a character that he plays, like that high and mighty, holier than thou, I'm above it all, dispensing the wisdom. Like that's the character. But the real him is the squeaky little insecure little shit that tries to pay a 19-year-old $5,000 to come out to fight him and then disappears off Twitter for a few days to let the heat die down because he made an ass of himself. That's the real him.
Yeah.
And it's not satire. 100% it's not. Because anytime, like, you can tell when things get under his skin, like the person that made the finance guy wife account, he got so mad. Like, anybody that even like kind of laughed at it, he was like going after him. Like Investment Kage, he says the guy looks like Gollum, which
okay. Here's another thing, and
it was funny, but like it was shitty at the same time when he's all like, I don't like the negativity. It's everybody else being negative to me. He's like constantly a victim too, professional victim.
Okay, this also completely disproves it, and the wife thing posted it, but he essentially responds to it. He responds to this tweet that didn't even mention him. It's like somebody tells you your X account sucks. How are you replying? And he chooses the little moral high ground. I appreciate their support for keeping close attention to my content so they can develop an opinion on it. Haters equal loyal fans. Nobody knows your content better than Nobody knows your content better than a hater. They are a dedicated fan group. I don't know. I think
that looks like satire to me.
I don't know. It's just, I think he's
just trying to make himself. He's trying to self-soothe about how many people legitimately dislike him and his schlock.
Well, he just says regarded. He says regarded shit, and he can't like. I think he knows it sometimes. Like all the good Twitter accounts, including Double D's, do it. They say some stupid shit, knowingly that's gonna probably get some engagement. The difference between him and Double D's, though, is that he legitimately gets upset at some of like the, I guess, lash at it.
Yeah, and he's not like, honestly, I don't think he's a very good person or like a very nice person in real life. He comes off like, I don't know, kind of a rat think little shit that I'd like to stuff inside of a fucking locker in the hallway.
Quote of the year. Quote of the year.
Granted, like, I'm not even the one that he was offering $5,000 though. And by the way, on that, I wouldn't get in the ring with Ryan for $5,000. Yeah. I would not. Like, that's just that's the most regarded thing of all, because he's bigger and he's trained in actual combat sport at real gyms, and for a normal person, like, it might as well be the same as going up against like a person with a baseball bat or like a crowbar or something, as far as how bad the result would be. It's stupidity. And Guy does not strike me as somebody that's an expert in any type of combat sport, and probably not particularly big either.
The only way he'd be able to beat me is if he didn't put deodorant on for the day and he smells bad, or maybe just naturally how he smells. Let's get on to the topic of the episode, though, and I think Blake asks a good question here. Aria, where do you see the opportunity right now? And obviously, the answer is going to be Hims and Palantir.
You know what? I'm actually quite surprised with not the moat, like definitely not the most, but the fundamentals of Hims are incredible. Like, it's growing 70-80% revenues, accelerating revenues, and like you look at some of the KPIs, which we have over on Finchat.io.
Oh.
But yeah,
by the way, we have a link in the description, guys.
2-week free trial.
Yeah,
just go give it a try. By the way, no card required, so you literally just sign up. We give you the free trial there.
Can confirm it.
But yeah, dude, like you look at some of these KPIs with not Finchat, with Hims, and like, you know, users are going in the right direction. I think a bigger KPI with Hims is the average cart value.
Why
ACV.
not pull it up right now? I'm going to pull it up.
Sure, go ahead. But yeah, like the ACV of the business. So like, I don't know, a couple of years ago, was that like $50? If you want to pull it up there. The average order value, AOV.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, it was at like $25, and now it's at like 100. If you go on a quarterly view, it's up to like $150 per quarter. Like, that's significant growth, just purely from like users buying more stuff. You know?
Yeah. Year over year annualized rev growth, 69%. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you have that. If you want to pull up revenue and net income as well, that's a pretty decent chart. Can you get rid of this little thing at the bottom? It's pissing me off.
Morgan Stanley. You don't like Morgan Stanley?
No, it was that TKO group.
Oh, I was looking at TKO.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do want to get to that because there's been a lot of talk about that recently.
They got added to S&P, I think, right?
Yeah, and people are not happy about it.
Oh,
I'm
go
actually
on last 12 month view if you can.
last 12 months.
That'll better. No. Like you're on quarterly view right now. Can you go on LTM?
Silly me.
Yeah. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I
but yeah,
knew
look at
it.
that.
Yep.
So like, dude, like it's serious fundamentals growth and like valuation, like depending on how you look at it, like it's not crazy expensive and stuff, but I digress. In terms of best opportunities in the market right now, it would just kind of have to be all the stuff I have in my portfolio, which by the way, this is like, geez, the Oracle.
No. I say Google.
Yeah, like Google's good.
Yeah.
It's a cheap PE. If you look on like EV to OCF or whatever the kids like to use nowadays, it looks good. Amazon good. Uber seems like decent valuation, right? Like I wouldn't say any of them are like necessarily like pound the table buys. Maybe Google's like getting there, but they're all undervalued businesses.
Yeah, Google's damn close to probably what I would say would be the pound, like maybe like 150 instead of 170, but like still it's very good right now, and it's actually starting to show maybe like a little bit of resilience to further damage. Like it seems to like kind of dance around this 170 line a little bit and doesn't seem to be wanting. Like I think people just see like, hey, I got another chance to get more Google at like 172. Okay,
so Fiscal, I have a question for you. Remember when we first were buying into Amazon, we were talking about how affected these big Mag 7 companies are going to be affected by AI, like once the bubble comes?
Yeah.
Where do you think Google kind of lies in that? I think Amazon's obviously number one. That's going
right
to be
now. Well, no, I think I don't think Amazon's going to be like affected that much, but
least affected.
Yeah, right.
My bad.
So the narrative, because of the price drop right now, is that LLMs are going to absolutely obliterate Google search and they're just going to die a slow, agonizing death. I don't buy it because, like, okay, I've used a little bit of like the Grok thing on X before, but I used that for like a completely different thing than what I would ever think of trying to use Google for. So I think in a lot of cases, it's different tools for different jobs. And I've heard some people saying, no, people are literally using LLMs for like everything, including as like a calculator and stuff. It's like, well, those people just have very low IQs, I think, if they're using LLMs as calculators. And there's a lot of people that have built up a habit of using Google for everything from maps to booking their flights, etc., over decades now. Myself being one of them. I've probably, 20 plus years now, Google's been, I think, probably my default search engine. I've used Gmail for about that long, and
technically they're our boss.
They're very heavily integrated into my day-to-day life, and I don't think like I could think of things that I would potentially use like a generative AI or an LLM for, but it wouldn't be the same things I use Google for. And there might be some people that are the kind of people that literally type like 4 or 5 sentence questions into Google search expecting an answer. Those people might be doing that on LLMs now, but that was never really like the strong suit of Google search to begin with. And as far as what Google search does well, it's still, I think, the best at those things.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about it. YouTube is still, I think, a content goat and is still very useful. And I don't think YouTube's going anywhere. And if you think that robo-taxis are the future, Google owns Waymo. So if like you're thinking Tesla's worth $20 trillion and 200 trillion in a few years. Oh, wait, sorry, that's Bitcoin. Because of robo-taxis, then why not Google? Because Waymo is, as far as I can tell, more operational than any Tesla robo-taxi program. Need I go on?
Fiscal with alcohol on him is a new mythical character. I love this.
He's good enough. I guess to kind of add on to your point, But by the way, I see comments about Amazon being hit the hardest with tariffs. We'll come back to that. I really don't think so. But in terms of the Google thing, I would also add that, like, dude, like the AI overviews are already integrated into search, and it gets the job done.
Yeah.
For the longest time I've said, like, it's never the best technology that ends up winning out. There's of course exceptions, but it's usually not the best technology that wins out. It's the one that has the distribution and then gets a good enough solution where 90% of people, 95% of people are like, this gets the job done.
The implementation more so than the technology itself. Like how well they get it out
The distribution of it.
Yeah.
Right. So Google has 3-4 billion users, right? And like that's probably worth more than slightly more accurate answers.
Yeah.
Go hit first.
All right, we'll get to the Amazon part when it comes to tariffs, because this was a big conversation this week.
Is my face cam laggy, by the way? I feel like
no, not really.
Oh, really? Okay, good. Yeah. So I was gonna pull up Finchat for this, but it doesn't matter. I could just kind of say off a whim. Basically, 60% of operating income for Amazon comes from AWS, and then 40%, give or take 40%, is the e-commerce portion. It's a little bit international, and I would assume, I don't know because they don't break it out, I would assume like literally half of that operating income is a mix of the Amazon Prime subscription, which has nothing to do with tariffs. People are just going to renew it over time. You can make the argument people's spending power goes down over time, but like at the same time, it's a high retention subscription. I don't think it's going to get impacted that much. And then you have the advertising portion, right? So I would assume basically only about 20% of Amazon's profits are actually from the sales of e-commerce, probably, right? Just based off of some back of the napkin math. And realistically, like, let's just say we go into a terrible, terrible recession, spending goes down on Amazon by, call it 20, 30%. So let's say, give or take, on just the e-commerce portion. Yeah. So at its worst, you're looking at like a 7% negative headwind to their profits. At its worst, right? Because again, the subscription, we're going to say, doesn't get impacted. Advertising doesn't really get impacted. AWS most definitely doesn't get impacted in any capacity, right? So at the end of the day, like, I think Amazon in this sell-off due to the tariff situation is significantly overdone. They basically have no AI risk on top of that. They don't have a Google search that could be changed with LLMs and that type of stuff. If anything, they're kind of the enabler of that with AWS and stuff. So like pound the table, pound the table buy, but strong buy.
Sure. And I think a lot of the e-commerce is also third-party sellers, where Amazon, I think, is just doing the fulfillment. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so wouldn't it be the sellers more so getting hit by that part of it than Amazon, if Amazon's just getting paid? Like, maybe people won't buy as many widgets for them to do the fulfillment on, but being just like kind of a middleman that does the fulfillment in a lot of cases, like, it doesn't directly hit them as much, I would think.
Yeah.
So the third-party business is historically about 2/3 the size of the first-party business, a little bit more than 2/3. So, yeah.
So it just seems like it's an ever smaller and smaller piece of their pie actually gets directly hit by any potential tariffs, and
exposure to consumers in general. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And speaking of consumers, over the long run, the American consumer is goated and undefeated to date. Just pointing that out to everybody. Like, yeah, there's recessions and there's pullbacks sometimes, but in the long run, you can count on, your Beckys and whoever.
Never short Becky.
Never. just saying.
Okay.
The average American consumer is the ultimate regard.
Yeah, nice. I was gonna say, I tweeted this as well, but there's this podcast, huge podcast named Financial Audit. I don't know if either of you guys have you watched
Caleb
it?
Caleb Hammer, Mr.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So entertaining.
Yeah.
So anyways, dude.
He's awful, but yeah.
No. It's very, very entertaining. But dude, you go on there and like he brings these people on. For people that aren't familiar
it's
with
the Jerry Springer of finance. I will die on that hill. That comparison.
Yeah, but basically brings on people onto the show with like really bad financial situations, huge amounts of debt. You know, they have payday loans, credit card debt that's accruing crazy amount of interest,
I
right?
know
And
some
he
people
just
like that.
Making the minimum payment while still charging on the card.
making the minimum payment, but also taking a loan out to go to a trip to Europe just because I needed it. Just horrible financial decisions. And he just goes through everything. Goes through like, yeah, you spent this much on DoorDash.
Range Rovers when they have like $26 in their checking account, but they drive a Range Rover. Yeah.
The car makes half their gross income or whatever. Like ridiculous. And so, dude, like if you watch any of these, like he'll go through the thing. He's like, yeah, you spent 20% of your income on Amazon, right? Or he's like, yeah, you spent this much on DoorDash. You spent this much at Starbucks.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You look at it, it kind of gives you a gauge into like, I don't know, definitely not the average person, but like, dude, there's for sure many people out there, maybe in better financial situations that are still discretionary spending is like through the roof for them, you know?
So I heard a stat on like on credit card users, and I guess about half, somewhere around half, carry a balance for, meaning they don't pay the statement balance and like do accrue interest. And those are of course the credit card company's favorite customers. But and so that half is who's on that show.
No, dude.
Yeah.
I would say it's like the worst 2-3% of
It's probably the worst like 10% of that half, probably. So call it like the worst 5% or so is, but and they're purposely looking for the worst of the worst because it makes the most entertaining content. But man, those people do carry a lot of weight for the like consumer economy. They are doing their part, man. It's crazy.
So there's 50%.
Yeah, have you ever seen episode? Speaking of Jerry Springer, have you ever seen episode 32, Aria?
No, I haven't had a chance to watch it. No.
If you're a channel member, you have the access. By the way, we're doing the Uber deep dive Fiscal after we've owed for a month now to do it. We'll do it.
You guys been slacking on that.
We have been. Well, we've had like 3 of our last 4 episodes have gone out over like 2.5 hours. Speaking of I wanted to cover TKO eventually. On the topic of Amazon though, Aria, you're like what, 30% on Amazon? You're heavy.
So I just bought more.
I know you. Yeah.
Let me give you the percentage terms of how much I bought more, but it now makes up 36% of my portfolio, and I still have, give or take, 6% cash left that might make it in there.
That's amazing.
And I haven't added since February, right? So I just bought it. Average cost basis of like 203 or whatever. I just added for the first time in a while.
Literally, just because of the price fluctuations that have happened in the last little bit here, officially Medical Properties Trust is my number 1 stock again, and Amazon's back to number 2 because MPW pumped like 25% in the last month, and Amazon basically
the oracle has got
no he just didn't want to hear about my poverty REIT anymore.
He couldn't take it anymore.
I've refreshed the page. I was trying to do Command T to open a new tab, but I hit Command R instead.
No, we thought the Oracle got you, but but it's just funny how that goes. Where during this time where actually like some of the best companies in the world are just oozing, bleeding, and getting eviscerated, the stock that people were telling me was the worst thing in the world suddenly starts to rise out of the.
You gotta get rid of it. Now you gotta get rid of it. Put it all on Amazon. That's generational wealth in the making.
Generational.
Or high tide, even better. Because high tide's been getting.
What do you think about this pullback being a generational buying opportunity? I mean, the Nasdaq's down like 1.7% year to date. It's a generational buying opportunity.
This is where millionaires are going to be made, as far as I'm concerned.
I love it. So I heard. You may have seen this even there. It was actually on your post that I saw this. The guy making the bear case for Amazon based on Canadian oil tariffs of 10%. Or not?
No, you're joking.
Google.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Google's gonna go down because of the Canadian 10% oil tariff, bro. What?
I don't think I saw that.
No, you responded to it.
Did I?
Yeah. You were like, like I don't understand how those two things go together.
No, recently I've had the memory of a fish for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know if it's just
it was absolutely crazy. Yeah, because you were pointing out that Google looks pretty attractive here, and you got all the typical bear case fudsters in your, and one of them literally that 10% Canadian oil tariff, man, it's going to kill Google because they use energy, you see, for a lot of what they do. And that 10%, then we get a lot of our energy from Canada, So ipso facto, Google is dead money at this point.
dude. I don't remember that, but if that guy actually said, that's ridiculous.
It was a few days ago, like just maybe even it was one of your more recent posts about Google. Just
I'm looking, I can't find it, man. I'm looking for it right now.
I'll try to find it.
No.
While you're pulling that up, the other night or during the week, the speech that Trump gave was pure comedy. Fiscal, I think you said during it that this is like a comedian gold mine.
Oh yeah, I said comedians will have, like, they're getting basically a free decade of material.
Dude, I just had that on the background. Like after an hour, it got to be a little much because it's just like kind of gets rambling on and the crowd gets a little dead, clapping every like minute and a half. But like, oh my god, that was just pure entertainment. And there was also in the Discord this week, there was large political debates on mine at least, which I'm considering terminating going forward. Essential, like I think the big thing is that, like, you got to get your emotions out of politics and kind of view it as entertainment at the end of the day, even though it's a serious business. But if you could just kind of get your emotions away from it, very, very entertaining.
Man,
Do you want to pull up what Padre said? Sorry, Fiscal, do you have something to say?
No, it's just I am realizing how many recent posts people have made about Google.
What are we talking about? Blacked out the response, high tide.
Yeah, blacked out the response. So funny.
Yeah, Canada's gonna. We're buying Canada. Canada's going to be fun again. We're making pizza into Domino's. It's gonna be so fun.
I'm surprised he knows about pizza. Pizza, dude.
I like.
Have you tried it?
Yeah, I like it.
Cardboard, actual cardboard. It's ridiculous. Cardboard with like, Jesus, so much salt. It feels like I'm eating a block of salt every time.
So what's good pizza in Toronto?
Pizza Nova's all right, and then there's some places downtown, dude, with like, it's like Italian oven, insane. Yeah. It's Nonna's recipe from 19 whatever,
Pizza. It is a warm place in my heart. Because like we'd go down there, we'd go to the Blue Jays games late at night. We're going to pizza. I loved it. But I guess the local Canadian who doesn't like Tim Hortons and doesn't like Tim's, doesn't like pizza, doesn't love Canadian culture. I guess he's unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know if there's. Go ahead.
Also on the topic of, I wanted to get to it. The Salesforce sell.
Ooh.
Would you like to explain? Obviously, the growth was probably the big reason, but
yeah, that's basically it, right? You run. So okay, let me. And I talked to my friend Nick about this, right? Nick's like my longest friend. I've been friends with him since like grade 4, right? And he also invests and whatnot. So I always run my ideas by him. And we were talking maybe a couple weeks ago, give or take. And I was saying like, okay, I'm just going to wait on this earnings report to come out because it would be weird for me to sell out and jump the gun. And like they come out and, they can maybe reaccelerate revenues this quarter. They give you guidance for the full year. That's another big thing, right? This was Q4. So they're giving guidance for the full year as well. Pretty important stuff, right? Pretty important report overall. And I was saying like, either I need to see a revenue reacceleration or like They knock it out the park. Margin expansion. So over the past 2 years, they went from like, I don't know, like 0% operating margins to like 20%. And I was saying like, okay, realistically, like hopefully they guide for like 25, 26% operating margins, right? And like, so I can wait on the revenue growth until they figure that out with agent force, whatever the case may be. And they're still growing their profits at, call it 15% plus, right? So I was like, okay, let's just wait and see, because it's still a great business. And the report comes out. Keep in mind, this is like a pretty expensive business as well. Report comes out. Not only did they guide for 6% revenue growth, which is atrocious, right? Previously, they've been growing at like 8, 9-ish percent. But then on top of that, for the full year, right? Keep in mind, I was saying 26% operating margins is like reasonable. Let's hopefully see that they put that print out, right? 21% operating margins, guided for 22% for the full year. Just atrocious, right? So that means your profits are growing at about 10% for the full year. Of course, Salesforce is notorious for sort of sandbagging the earnings just so they could comfortably beat it throughout the year. They're 100% going to do that throughout the year, this year as well. But nonetheless, like, dude, the sort of ceiling on your profit growth is like a low teens grower. And then at the same time, like Amazon trades at give or take similar to same valuations, growing 3 times as fast. Seems like a no-brainer. Of course, you could argue like subscription revenues deserve a higher premium, but I think AWS is as good as it gets in terms of quote unquote subscription. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a no-brainer to me.
Even my employer, we have a lot of our stuff backed up on AWS. Like you wouldn't just know it. It's just something that happens in the background. Nobody's even really consciously aware of it. And they write some kind of a big check to Amazon every month or whatever.
Don't think twice about it.
Yep, exactly.
It's a utility bill. It's like you're paying off your electricity bill. Yep. You have to have it. You don't even think twice about it.
Yeah. Well, what would the heaviest you'd get allocation wise in Amazon be? You're 35% right now. Let's just say Amazon goes to, what's Amazon no brainer? 150, 160 again?
I would full port it at that point, probably. Like,
wow.
At that point, like, you could strip out AWS on its own. It's still undervalued.
Yeah.
Like, if the business could just be AWS. At 150. Yeah. It's at that point, it's worth just AWS.
Actually, last time it had a drop that first time it hit 200 and we had the Bezos wall and it dropped to 160. People were saying like, "Hey, AWS alone justifies the current price without any of the e-commerce, fulfillment, advertising, so on and so forth."
Yeah. Ignore the other 40% of the business. AWS alone is worth this cheap of a price.
Yeah, we're taking out loans if it gets back to those prices.
Yep. Though I did see, speaking of taking out loans, I saw somebody post today, "I'm tempted to sell my house and put all the proceeds into HIMS." And it's like, I think the market still needs to go down a little bit if people are.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, TKO was definitely one I wanted to talk about because I went to Monday Night Raw this week. I'm telling you, dude, I'm getting like, they got added to the S&P. Lots of insider buying is like through the roof right now. Price to free cash flow, I think, of like 24. It's starting to make sense to potentially add more, even though I got in at like a crazy cost per average. And they also started they're doing a Saudi boxing league now with like the UFC involved. And I think boxing is a market where it's like dead right now. I think it could be a lot more efficient in the way that it's actually ran. If you watch boxing right now, like Fiscal, you watch the Jake Paul thing. Like there was like an hour intermission between every fight. It was not easy to watch.
Yeah. Well, so I tried. I tried to watch it live, and like the buffering, like it just wouldn't really. So I gave up because I had other things to do anyway. And then I ended up like going back to it after it was finished and just watching like the replay. But it was just, it sucked. The whole thing just wasn't very good. Yeah.
They also pay a dividend now. Obviously, that's adding another $80 to the price target for me. No, it's starting to look pretty interesting. It's kind of one of those just hidden God, I'm gonna sound like such a bum saying this, but compounder. It's at 143. It's on a dip from an all-time high of 176. Pull it up on Finchat. Nice P of 9,000. If anybody really, the P isn't great. Ain't
So
for me.
aren't
It's
the
ain't the company.
historicals a little bit like on
Yeah,
some of the
historicals are weird because they just formed
the
a
merger.
few years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Market cap of 11 billion. So I mean, it's not like giant. I still think there's a lot more room to grow. With that, like the monopoly they have with the UFC and WWE, it's crazy. And not to mention WWE is like literally it became like overnight kind of giant again after last week's episode because John Cena turned heel. If anybody saw that, and it was pretty. It speaks to the brand value and I guess moat they have.
Yeah. I mean, WWE is one of those things that people have loved it for decades, and I don't want to compare it to Star Wars exactly, but in that same way where like the fans that really are dedicated they'll watch every WrestleMania and everything. So the people that are really diehard about it are like as diehard as it
And
gets.
I see these people at these events, dude. Yeah. They're going insane for like mid card, like C or BT or like I guess B class wrestlers. Like it's people are going nuts for like these people that like I genuinely don't know. It's insane, dude. Like it was interesting.
Yeah.
Always.
And every generation, it seems like there's new people that grow up loving wrestling. So I definitely don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah. Margins are on Finchat, 68% gross margin, EBITDA margin of 24%, operating margin of 10%, 18% free cash flow margin. Aria, do you have any thoughts on TKO? I know you've stated in the past you're not the biggest fan. Now that they pay a dividend, are you interested?
Jesus Christ. Dude, I'm saying,
what's the yield?
Oh man. Yeah, you know the higher the yield, it's a more attractive investment, of course.
Yes.
What's the growth rate?
In all seriousness, like I don't know, it's just so far away from like I wouldn't necessarily say circle of competence, but like the type of investments that I research and look at and stuff. I don't know, I just couldn't be bothered to look at it.
Interesting.
I hear you there. Yeah, sometimes things people bring up, it's like, man, I don't even know how to really look at that because it's so different from anything else that I would normally be interested in buying.
Yeah. Definitely one to keep your eye on for those who are interested in WWE, UFC, or international boxing affairs. Let's see. What else have we not covered so far? Oh, High Tide. Yeah, the channel actually not even channel member will cover it still. Aria doesn't own High Tide, so we'll keep it short and brief. But this is another one that's absolutely been dragging down the portfolio as of recently. It's starting to look like really attractive at these 230 levels fiscal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm technically still slightly up on High Tide.
I'm in the negative because I've been ever since the last roundtable. I've just been consistently buying. And it's been
I was also early to the investment. Like I was getting it at like 210 or something, I think. So, but I've averaged up over time, so I'm not very positive. I do think there are a lot of people that are actually very negative High Tide. But
just like Hims.
Yeah. So, no, that's a good question. So I'll answer this. I have some 250 strike cash secured puts sold, not many, but just a few, because the premium is 10% plus, depending on the strike or the expiration rather. I think April was what I sold for. And it was still over 250 actually when I did this, and I got a 10% premium. So I'll have an effective cost basis if assigned of 225, which is still lower than today's share price. But if it does go back up above 250, I'll just get the 10% premium and for free, basically. Well, it's not free money. There would be taxes and there was risk, but it's not too bad of a deal.
Also, SoFi Boy Major Speed, he's also running calls on it, I believe, and he has a strike if it's $4 by like fall, I think September, October. Then
What, like sold calls or?
I think so.
Because High Tide only has the 250 and the 5. Like they don't have a 4, so that's weird.
Yeah, he's an options wizard, and like he just got in on it, and they put him on the round table. But I was telling him, I'm like, I don't like the price with the stock is like very unpredictable. Or it may have been fall of 2026. I'm sorry, but very like you never know what can happen with it. You just gotta hope the fundamentals keep improving, and they have. Also, MV Kuna did an amazing interview with Raj. I would recommend everybody go check it out. No Cashflow Kings members reference at all on there. Unfortunately, I was a little disappointed. He can get it next time. Yeah,
we'll get Raj eventually. He's open to the idea. He said so publicly.
Aria, there. We also Microsoft too. I wanted to press you on Microsoft. Where are you looking to? I know you were so enthused looking at the companies on Finchat and the earnings and the investor relations they have and the great graphics. But any price specifically you have in mind? I know it hit the 390 that you kind of said, but now that it's here, it's not as juicy as it was looking.
Don't get me started on that IR page, man. I swear to God, like. I've looked at how many investor slides at this point. That is the worst investor slideshow I've seen in my lifetime. It doesn't tell me anything useful. The naming of all the segments is just so whack. And anyways, in terms of actually buying the business, I kind of backed away from it because I was just like, okay, let's take a look at this. Like, yeah, they have a lot of legacy components that are great parts of the business. But like, if I'm buying into this business, I'm really buying it for cloud and other services. That's where the majority of the growth comes. It's the biggest segment and the fastest growing segment, right? And so I kind of just looked at it, I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of my thesis with Amazon. Why not just buy more Amazon? I ended up buying more into Amazon. I was kind of dabbling with the idea of like owning the cloud, but I feel like, dude, they all benefit from such huge secular tailwinds with just the cloud portion, that Google, Microsoft. It might as well just concentrate more into the stocks that I already own instead of adding an extra name. You know what I mean?
Fair. Yeah. And if at that point, if you own Google, you own Amazon, why not just buy SHG at that point? Like in my case, that's why I'm not into Google right now. It's just like it doesn't make sense. I've just been buying a boatload of SHG.
So my only pushback on that is, there's probably some individual names in there that you wouldn't buy, that you would say, probably pass on this. Palantir. But you're buying them as a result of buying
Palantir.
Yeah. So
Palantir. Yeah. Are you saying? So you're saying basically that?
So I'm saying basically you like if the methodology of the ETF includes some garbage, you're getting the garbage too, and yeah,
NVIDIA. Although I mean, people are arguing that NVIDIA is actually like it's not as ridiculous as it was like maybe a year or two ago.
I've come around a bit on NVIDIA, and like I used to be a hater, but
we were NVIDIA bubble. I
mean, it might be a little stretched, but and granted, if the like CapEx cycle goes through like a downturn, like that'll throttle them pretty hard, but. Yeah, NVIDIA is quite good, and there was like a good point in the recent past probably to get in, and it's just I think we are probably, but they keep proving me wrong over and over again. Just I'm not willing to take that gamble now that they have kind of run up this far. It's like, well, there's a good chance that I've missed it, and it still looks overvalued now as a result. So yeah. It is what it is. Like, I'm not going to I've been hearing this one phrase go around a lot. You can't buy their last year's gains on the stock. So, I can't buy the run up that's already happened. So
Palantir a joke to you?
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that.
Oh no. Oh, get out of here. We're not. It's not cheap. It's ridiculous, actually. If to correct you, it's ridiculous. And I wish Dividend was here to say it. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's funny. I feel he stopped tweeting the stuff. This is ridiculous. At like the top one Palantir was at like 120, and then it's just gone down from there. So maybe we need some double.
It's like he
days
dropped the
tweets.
mic.
Yeah. Why buy Nvidia when you can buy NVDY?
To be honest, I did think his daily like Palantir, this is ridiculous post was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
People were upset about it and everything because it's the favorite. Like that's a good like rage bait engagement thing. Like finance guy could learn a thing or two.
It is.
Yeah.
So I'd like to show you guys something on Finchat. Dude, honestly, this is, at least personally, this is my favorite update we've had on Finchat. The custom metrics.
Link in the description below, guys. Free trial. Sign up.
Cash flow negative.
So
help us out.
Yeah. Again, just free trial. Just go give it a try. But basically, this is the most highly requested feature we've had, where it's like people want to, for example, adjust out stock-based comp from free cash flows or whatever. So instead of like making all the metrics, we literally just let you pick whatever you want, and like it's a full-on formula builder, and you could do whatever you like, right? So for Palantir in specific, like yes, the PE is high. Yes, the price to sales is ridiculously high on top of that. But actually, like those valuation metrics are a little bit understated as to how expensive the company actually is. So Palantir, about 2/3 of their profits come from interest on their cash. Right. So
because they do have a great balance sheet with a lot of cash on it. Like I'm not ever that was one of the things that was attractive about it. It seemed lowish risk at $6 a share because of that. And that interest, you know, they probably have most of it in 90-day treasuries and get a bunch of interest from it.
Hey, you better have used our link, Padre. You better have used our link. If you didn't, I'm going to be extremely cross because we are currently we're pissing money away faster than some certain YouTubers who cover who go all in on some certain covered call ETFs.
Yep.
Yeah, but anyways, so like, dude, they make. Oh, why is this not popular? I think I messed this up. Anyways, they make like about 500 million in net income, if I remember correctly, and like 200 of that, so like 40% of it, give or take, is from interest on the cash balance that they have. So if you decide to strip out the interest and you're looking at just the net income produced from the actual operations of the business, so them selling their software, right? The real PE is still at 750, and I'll put up the current PE just to kind of have it. Yeah, so the current PE, which is still ridiculously expensive, is 450. But then if you look at it without interest income, it's still at 750, and it peaked at well above 1,000.
You just don't understand Palantir. It's going to 10x from here.
It's a 100x opportunity.
Microsoft isn't going to buy Palantir. Palantir is going to buy Microsoft. What don't you understand about that? These are real things I've heard people say on Twitter.
Yeah.
William Barnes, you've been gifted a channel membership, a Cashflow Kings channel membership from Seymour Duck, who is very generous with his Google Play earnings. We greatly appreciate that.
Wow.
We also want to thank Padre here for he was commenting on the Jedi joke yesterday, but he also signed up for Finchat using our link. So, cha-ching's in all of our ears right now. Oh.
That's just what the doctor ordered. Our StreamYard subscription's coming due soon.
Yeah, I need to get on our a lot of stuff coming up this week.
I'll have to activate the new company card for that.
Trump and Elon's cutting costs, and many companies are cutting costs. Are another reason Palantir is going to go lower. People are having a hard time putting food on the table. Yeah, people aren't but putting all the money into Palantir.
Maybe Doge is going to take out a contract with Palantir to figure out how to save the government a lot of money. So maybe that's bullish.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you considered that Palantir is going to solve world hunger?
Have you heard of the ecosystem?
Do you understand the technology?
Have you heard of the $1.50 hot dogs?
Alex Karp is a genius.
He's got a good set of hair.
Yeah, exactly. He's got gray hair. Oh god.
I think we just laid out the whole bull case of Palantir.
We did.
It's the Tesla of this sort of bull market. You know what? Maybe we have a leg higher. It goes to $1 trillion. What do you think?
Hey,
No.
like as you say, as you know, earnings don't matter. Disruption is all that matters. Kathy Wood.
I should have shorted Kathy Wood a few years ago.
Somebody.
I mean,
God.
I made a video a few years ago, like right when I started YouTube in Clown Market 2021, of like why Kathy Wood is just at the entire video is just trashing on her.
You know,
I want to see her.
like just to say, like last time Fabio was on, right before like everything started cratering, Fabio told us to short beta, and like hims fell like in half since then.
Oh, I know. It was that's just.
If I had only had the courage to, the only reason I didn't like buy a bunch of options like to synthetically short a bunch of stuff is because I fear the regards.
Yeah,
like I fear the regards. I know that in spite of how bad things might look, they could come out of nowhere and pump some of these things any day.
ArcX is down 57% since I made that video in April of 2021. Quality performance on the 5-year chart. You could have invested that in a Costco and got a much better return at an 80.
Which that's another one. Well, they have dropped recently.
Yeah, they went like 10%.
Their valuation defies any kind of logic or explanation. Obviously, Costco should be trading for 75 times earnings. Have you seen the $1.50 hot dog and how much their members love them?
But the discount model.
And the memberships and the $1.50 hot dog. Yeah, it's great.
When's the last time you went to Costco and the parking lot was empty? Haven't seen it.
People tell me that all the time. I personally haven't ever gone to Costco, but yeah.
Yeah, you like the Walmart one, right?
I go to Sam's Club, yeah. And it's not necessarily a matter of liking it more, it's that it was closer drive-wise. And so I ended up, and also the membership's a bit cheaper. And so I was like, I'll hit Sam's Club, because a lot of the stuff that you would get at Costco, they have the exact same deal at Sam's Club, like the big honking things of like Coke Zero and whatever, or of like Monster or whatever, Red Bull. They have this like basically like within a penny or so of each other, the same price on all that stuff between both of them. And then it's like there's not like really anything specific I can think of aside from, I know Kirkland brand has some nice stuff. Like they've got like, I've heard good like protein bars and a few other things, but it's not enough to make me want to go out and get like a whole other membership and then like compare and contrast them and shop around. It's a lot of work, and I'm fine. Sam's Club's fine.
All right, we're gonna play a game on the topic of overvalued, very conservative stocks. This company is trading at around $230 a share right now. They're trading at a 33 PE and a price to free cash flow of 42. Which company is this? Guess
Apple.
Nope.
No? Okay.
Wait,
I said
what's the price of
conservative.
free cash flow?
Price to free cash flow is 42 right now. Around 42.
That's why I thought it was Apple.
Okay.
Because yeah.
And what's
I'll
the
give
PE?
everybody a minute in the chat. I'll give everybody like 25, 30 seconds. Just name out tickers. This is good
What's like the rough market cap? Like, is it above 100?
Around 100. A little under 100.
100
Is it
billion?
S&P? Wait, no, it
No.
wouldn't be S&P.
No.
220.
And I'm gonna say it's one of those stocks where it's like people are always gonna need this. So it's like the
Is it
the
waste
Coke.
management? Yeah.
Is it?
I gave it away when I said that. Yeah, it is. I was seeing tweets this week, and people are talking like people are compare. People just take a picture of the waste management truck. People are always gonna need trash, and they're gonna just like rational paying that for like a 44p or it's just I can't. People are always gonna need their trash. Yeah. That's a good buy.
Yeah, no, like honestly, waste management's really big out here because a lot of people work. They have like a big like facility or whatever out in Apache Junction, which is it's kind of right next door out here. And I've been there once. It literally fucking smells like garbage in that town, and I never want to go there again, by the way. But yeah, tons of people out here work because I think they have some of their corporate offices here in Phoenix because they have the big plant over there and whatever. But yeah, just because people are always going to need it doesn't mean that you can't overpay for it. That's all I'd say.
I'll hold off. My SHD and Vici is holding me well right now, Blake. I appreciate that. Vici's actually gone up. It's nice. It's weird.
How you like BTI right now, Ryan?
BTI is pretty nice too.
It's been doing well for you, right?
Yeah, it's not a whole lot, but it's been
actually Altria has been pumping a bit, but I think actually BTI is more attractively priced at the moment.
We're buying BTI at like 35, 34, right?
I mean, if BTI was like low 30s again, I'd probably want to load up. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, unless something had like drastically changed, but it's tobacco. They've been around for like a billion years. They're not. I don't think anything's changed.
Okay, this is another one that I just can't rational. And I think I was talking with, I want to say Ashton Invests on Twitter about J&J, and I've never understand the thesis for this one either. J&J has been trading at 145 for like the last 5 years since I've started investing. And I just can't get my head around what like people who are not 45.
I think J&J is one of those stocks that actually ends up kind of trading more like a bond because you're going to consistently get your like 4.5% and maybe like a little bit of growth, like
the goal
or whatever. Yeah,
what's that noise?
And that's what you're gonna get. And if you're satisfied with that, put your money in Johnson & Johnson.
Eric, that is the sign to buy anymore. That's the sign to buy, if anything, if he's selling.
Yeah.
Did you see he's coming around on Uber?
Oh yeah, I saw.
He said it's undervalued. He said it's undervalued. Yeah. It was actually in his upper tier, like right next to Google and Amazon, of the most undervalued companies in the whole market right now. Now, is Uber pretty good here? Yes, but the most undervalued in the whole market. Come on,
high tide.
Dude, it's pretty close, man.
If your whole world is large cap tech, sure.
Well, it is.
Yeah, well, I know. That's the joke about Joseph Carlson.
It's Mag 7.
No, but I would say, I mean, at least for me, like, dude, I'm not looking at a stock like probably under like 30, 40 billion market cap. Like my sort of floor in terms of the type of companies to look at is like probably around there. So in terms of those type of companies, I would probably say, yeah, Uber's like very close to being the most undervalued between everything I've looked at.
If you, again, like if your world is basically, and Joseph Carlson's is for sure, but basically if your world is like larger cap and mostly tech, yeah, for sure. Uber is probably one of the best. Like it's probably at least top like 3 or 4.
And Bill Ackman's in it, so
in that category. But
and Bill Ackman's in it.
Yeah. But I mean, I have stuff that's under $1 billion that is maybe more undervalued. But
speaking of undervalued, Fiscal, you know what else is kind of getting a little attractive here? Disney. I bought some more Disney.
Oh yeah. Disney's 104 back down to 105 ish.
Yeah, I've been adding. I think below 110 solid. I mean, like,
I think I'm gonna just chill on Disney unless it gets below 100 again, and then I'm gonna probably
just because Amazon has been.
Yeah, it's and I've been Google. I sort of indirectly have some basically now. We'll say, yeah, that's been a big priority, and actually, which was recently pitched to us. KKR, a little bit of a nibble there too, but indirectly.
I don't like that play.
Why you don't like it? Why don't you like it?
KKR.
I just don't like asset management companies in general. Listen, people tell me Brookfield's great. I'm sure it is. It's such a black box to me. Like I cannot figure out what they're doing.
Okay, I'm kind of with you then, because I
Dude,
was struggling.
I'm sure they're making accretive investments. It's just as a sort of like an individual sort of investor, like I couldn't go to sleep at night not knowing exactly what that company is kind of doing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
sort of similar thing with like cybersecurity stocks where I just they're so vague.
It does seem like there's an awful lot to like kind of keep track of.
And I'm just not looking for that when you.
But they had they had like a pretty sizable dip, and there are things I liked about Fuhat's case for. Although he was raging on Discord the other day about like the drop and stuff. So, I don't know.
It's 15%. What is he?
Yeah,
15% dip.
I mean, he might have been just like joking around or something. I don't know him well enough to know when he's being serious and when he's joking. Sometimes he always sounds serious.
I had to blur out last week's entire episode due to F-bombs during the middle of it.
Yeah, we probably can't use any of that for clips, to be honest with you, but that's okay.
It's okay. Our editor was a week late on it anyway, so he can back to the basement. Okay, well, we're about an hour 10 in. We got to film the Uber deep dive for the channel members. Once again, if you want to become a channel member, I'll post the link. It's good value, right? Aria, tell the people about the value you get as a channel membership.
Yeah, you get exclusive posts and exclusive videos and whatnot.
Episode 32.
Episode 32.
Episode 32 is that's a huge value add there. Most definitely.
You
haven't personally watched it.
And yeah, also, you will though.
It is.
if you ask for a specific video to be made,
you got
wishes our command. We
will do anything for $1 here on the Cash Flow Kings. Okay. Once again, thank you everybody. Aria, where is give me your Amazon fair value, you'd say. Where do you actually no, that's boring. Where do you envision Amazon trading in 3 years?
Give me your 12-month price target.
3. Oh, yeah.
Give me 3 years. 5 years.
It's a buy under 300. No, in all seriousness, dude, I could definitely see it being like a $400 something stock, right? Like you have earnings growth of like around 30%. Let's just say the multiple stays the same. Yeah, it's probably around a double from today's price in 3 years, give or take. So it could definitely make it to. It seems reasonable to me. It would be a $400-ish stock. I guess that we're wrapping up. Shameless plug. If you wanna, if you like, you know what? Just go check out the Twitter. Leave it at that.
Yeah, go check.
100%.
Finchat.io.
That's good.
Yep, go Finchat.
Finchat in the description. Aria's Twitter. Both very value accretive.
Value accretive. You get some interesting posts. You get drama sometimes. It's a fun time.
I'll give you a price update on Amazon by the penny.
By the penny.
Price updates on Amazon, Google.
The whales are buying.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't come today.
that was also that guy. That guy's been on a run this week with tweets. He made the one where it's Warren Buffett. Stop! You're gonna make me put my hands up and I don't know, like buy the Google dip. Then the other one was it was like reposting Dividend dude's tweet about buying Google, and he just said the whales are buying, and that was the funniest thing ever. All right, thank you everybody. Check out Aria's page. The link's in the description. At Quality Invest 5. Buy Finchat. Use whoever's link, whoever you thought added more value to the show. We'll let the viewer decide. I don't know use his. Why not? Half the fun of it.
Fiscal.
You got to use our link so we like. Otherwise we're gonna go bankrupt, guys.
We are gonna go bankrupt.
We're gonna be in margin call any moment.
Any moment, we need money. It's not going good. We're not going to see a payout until 2028. The way things are going, we do have to do an honorary dance. Aria, you have the choice to or to not dance. The choice is yours at this point. We're an hour 13 in. Once again, this is for the Seymour Duck Channel membership. Let's do it, Fiscal. I hope nobody sees this by now. Thank you all for watching.
who's
Smash like
laughing
and
in the back?
subscribe. Do dividend stocks, hot drugs, and of course, cash flow
Flow
is
is
king.
king.